Thailand had a crown. For decades, nobody questioned it. If you were planning a trip to Southeast Asia, the conversation started and often ended with Thailand. The beaches were the reference point. The street food was the benchmark. The nightlife was the legend. Every other country in the region was measured against what Thailand had built, and most of them came up short. That's no longer the case. And the country quietly stepping into that space isn't Vietnam, isn't Cambodia, isn't Bali. It's Malaysia. And the more time you spend here, the less surprising that becomes. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We cover Malaysia the way it actually is, not the way travel brochures describe it. Subscribe if you want content that goes deeper than the highlight reel. Now let's get into it. To understand why Malaysia is rising, you first need to understand what's happening to Thailand. And this isn't about attacking a beautiful country. It's about being honest about what large-scale tourism does to a place over time. Thailand built its tourism industry into one of the most powerful in the world. And for a long time, that was purely a success story. But there's a tension that builds when a country becomes too dependent on the volume of visitors rather than the quality of them. Infrastructure gets pushed past its limits. Prices in popular areas creep up year after year. The interactions between locals and tourists shift from genuine to transactional. The beaches that made Phuket famous now have to absorb millions of people every year, and that pressure shows. Safety concerns have added another layer of hesitation. High-profile incidents involving tourists have made certain demographics, particularly Chinese visitors who represent a significant share of Thailand's tourism numbers, more cautious about choosing it as a destination. Word travels fast in 2026, and a reputation built over decades can erode faster than most tourism boards are comfortable acknowledging. The cultural friction is perhaps the most telling sign. Thailand built its global identity on warmth and welcome. The Land of Smiles wasn't just a marketing slogan. It reflected something real about how Thai people engaged with visitors. But when the volume becomes relentless, when every high season brings another wave of crowds, noise, and behavior that locals find disrespectful, that warmth gets tested. The smiles are still there, but in the busiest tourist corridors, they carry a tiredness that wasn't there before. None of this means Thailand is finished as a destination. Its food remains extraordinary. Its temples are genuinely awe-inspiring. Its islands, at the right time of year and in the right places, still deliver what they promised. But for someone thinking about more than a 2-week holiday, about extended stays, about actually living in Southeast Asia rather than just passing through it, Thailand is starting to feel like a lot of work for the experience it delivers. Malaysia has been watching all of this from a different position entirely. What Malaysia offers isn't a louder version of Thailand or a cheaper imitation of it. It's a genuinely different proposition, and that difference is rooted in how the country developed its relationship with visitors over time. Malaysia never went all in on mass tourism the way Thailand did. It didn't build its economy around the constant churn of backpackers and party tourists. The result is a country that feels like it has space to breathe, space to explore, space to actually live rather than just exist as a backdrop for someone else's holiday content. Kuala Lumpur is a city of 8 million people that somehow manages not to feel overwhelming. The infrastructure works. The streets are clean by regional standards. Getting around is straightforward. And the interaction between locals and visitors still has the quality of genuine curiosity rather than tired tolerance. Penang tells a similar story from a different angle. Georgetown's streets layer Chinese shophouses, Indian temples, Malay kampung architecture, and colonial buildings into something that rewards slow exploration. The food scene there has an international reputation that it has earned rather than marketed its way into. Food writers fly in from across the world to eat in Penang, not because of a campaign, but because the food is genuinely that good. But the comparison between Thailand and Malaysia ultimately comes down to something harder to photograph than a beach or a skyline. It comes down to how a place makes you feel over time. Thailand in its current form can feel like being at a party that peaked a few hours ago. The energy is still there, the music is still playing, but something has shifted, and everyone can feel it even if nobody says it directly. Malaysia feels like somewhere that's still figuring out its full potential. Not in a way that means it's lacking, but in a way that means it hasn't been exhausted yet. The best versions of its cities, its islands, its food culture, its communities, are still accessible in a way that Thailand's best versions increasingly are not. For the traveler who wants chaos and intensity, and the full sensory overload of Southeast Asian tourism at its most concentrated, Thailand still delivers. There's a version of that experience that Malaysia simply doesn't offer and doesn't try to. But for anyone thinking longer term, whether that's a month, a year, or a life chapter in Southeast Asia, the calculation has shifted. Malaysia's healthcare is world-class and genuinely affordable. Its cities are modern without being sterile. Its cultural diversity, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and dozens of smaller communities all present in daily life, creates a texture that takes time to fully appreciate, but rewards patience in a way that more homogeneous tourist destinations cannot. The crowd that Malaysia attracts reflects all of this. Families looking for a safe, comfortable base. Professionals relocating for work or running remote businesses. Retirees who have done the rounds of Southeast Asia and decided they want substance over spectacle. Long-term expats who started somewhere else and ended up here. These are not people who chose Malaysia by accident or because it was cheap. They chose it because it worked for them in ways other places didn't. That's the shift happening right now. Thailand built something extraordinary, and in doing so, created pressures that are now working against the experience it promises. Malaysia built something quieter, steadier, and more sustainable, and the people looking for exactly that are starting to find it. Thailand still has its crown, but it's wearing it differently than it used to. And Malaysia, without making any announcements about it, has started furnishing a room of its own. If you've spent time in both countries, I want to hear your take. Drop it in the comments below. And if this kind of honest, in-depth look at Southeast Asia is what you're here for, subscribe and turn on notifications because there's a lot more of this coming. See you in the next one.